And welcome back to PSA TV. This is the Wake Up Call. Of course, I'm your host, Christy Callising. And joining me on set right now, I've got the regional rep for Commonwealth Youth Council, Ms. Hannah Katwaroo. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here this morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well.
Very nice. So we're going to get straight into it. No chit, no change, no chat, no change. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, before we get into today's discussion, who exactly is Hannah?
My goodness. So I wear different roles, different hats. Right now at this moment, I'm serving on the Caribbean and Americas Sub-Regional Committee of the Commonwealth Youth Council. I also work as a protection advocate for migrants and refugees at a local NGO, Living Water Community, implementing partner for UNHCR. So that at this point, this is the type of work that I'm involved in. Again, for the purpose of today, I strongly advocate for youth participation, awareness, and increased knowledge sharing in our society.
What would have led you to get involved in this in the first place?
Simply because I wanted to do more. I believe that we speak a lot about mentorship in the Caribbean and having that type of culture being built and sustained. And I asked myself, okay, if I too have that type of expectation, what am I doing? What am I contributing towards that culture being built and sustained? So that is primarily why I decided to get involved in this type of work.
So this is your way of contributing to society
Exactly.
in your own little way. Very, very nice though. I must commend you because, you know, sometimes we look at a lot of events and you don't really see youth participation. So I know that the Youth Council is obviously, you know, putting forward a lot of things, and coming up on Saturday, we've got a big event. So tell us a little bit about that event.
So on Saturday, the Commonwealth Youth Council will be hosting our very first brown bag session, and it's titled No Chit, No Chance, No Chat, No Change. Basically, we're all aware of the current situation with the influx of Venezuelan migrants in our society. It is a very popular topic of discussion happening, and we felt we need to launch out on a series of youth participation projects by having this type of conversation among young people, young persons. Yeah, it's very timely. It's not just us riding a wave of hype happening right now, but as you know, we do have a very laid-back culture of pecan in Trinidad and Tobago, which is very apparent on social media.
Has brought its own.
Exactly. So this is our way of having structured conversations with young persons in a very open forum where there's a lot of exchange and knowledge sharing in a credible way.
And where exactly is this going to be taking place?
So we are collaborating with the Two Cents movement in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as Knowledge Bank of Trinidad and Tobago. It's going to be held at the Writers Center. That's number 14 Alcazar Street in Port of Spain. Seating is limited. So at this moment,
I see you have a registration process.
Exactly. There's a registration process. However, if at this last minute you are interested, you can definitely like our Commonwealth Youth Council page on Facebook and contact me directly through there.
I'm seeing here some of the topics include discussion of TNT's government response, what we know versus what we don't know. And like we were just saying, social media today has changed a lot of what you know versus what you think you know versus what is actually the truth. So this is very commendable. I'm also seeing here that you have an interrogate collective and individual human experiences and choices in our response. Again, very commendable there. I'm guessing this has to do with direct affiliation with some of these migrants.
Exactly. So on Saturday, we will actually have representatives from the Trinidad and Tobago Venezuelan Solidarity Network in on our session, as well as implementers on the ground. So some of my colleagues who are also protection advocates and who work in that area of programming for migrants and refugees
Yeah.
will also be in on the session. I really want to stress that point of being able to interrogate lived human experiences. I think that when you hear it directly from the source, you can't get more credible than that. And this is the part of it we don't see on social media.
Of course, most
So,
of these
exactly.
things, it lacks credibility because it's now a matter of what you think, what you hear, but coming from, like they would say, coming from the horse's mouth.
Exactly.
It is the most credible way.
Definitely.
And I'm also seeing here, share tools and utilize information to map responses at the community level. With the influx of the Venezuelans, I don't want to say migrants just yet. You know, there were some positive and negative comments.
Of course.
And as such, this is also interesting to see the responses from the community level. Elaborate that to me a little bit more.
Given the type of work that I'm doing right now in that area, I have witnessed a lot of persons at the community level willing to reach out and help this population, this vulnerable population. A lot of times persons approach me and ask, how can I do it? Because they are obviously respectful of the fact that this population has certain protection concerns and needs that we cannot assume or prompt, that we cannot speak on, so that persons do approach and ask, you know, hey, how can I help out with this situation? What would be the best type of service or act of kindness that I can deliver, and how can it be done in the most effective manner? A lot of these persons exist and work within large networks. So for example, Rotaract clubs, there are local NGOs such as Womantra, Not Okay movement right now, and these persons are really desirous of helping, reaching out, supporting across different types of areas, whether it be psychosocial, education, you know, they're really set to assist. So that is why at this session we will be sharing those tools and best practices that can help them do so in an efficient manner.
How involved would you say are the youths of this country in ensuring that, you know, these Venezuelans who come across here are afforded a comfortable lifestyle? How often do you see the youth participation?
I definitely witness it at the community level. Of course, there isn't much visibility of it. So that is why an event like this would also leverage that youth voice and participation in this situation.
Is there a cost attached to this event?
It's definitely free.
All right.
So yeah, there's no entrance fee. Imagine that.
That is really
for
good.
an amazing session. I mean, our lineup of persons who will be sharing is excellent.
Tell us about your speakers.
So in terms, I'm just going to give a little bit of insight and leave some surprises. So for example, we would have representatives from the Trinidad and Tobago Venezuelan Solidarity Network. I will have persons who specialize in protection response from the Living Water community, as well as colleagues who actually work in areas of trauma, legal, human rights, and persons from the University of the West Indies who specialize in xenophobia.
And I mean, we all know that xenophobia is a big thing in this country.
It is.
If you go on social media, you see it portrayed almost daily. So I do hope that this will shed some light into awareness. We often treat Venezuelans, or not just Venezuelans, but migrants, as lesser of humans.
Exactly.
And I'd imagine that this forum is to educate the public.
Definitely.
Any upcoming events from the CYC?
In terms, so I actually just returned from Anguilla, where along with my colleagues on ECYC, I would have collaborated with the Caribbean Regional Youth Council. There we would have trained persons, youth leaders and directors of national youth councils in strategic planning.
Okay.
So we're doing a bit of action planning at this moment, so stay tuned for the rollout of projects. But as I said, in terms of the brown bag sessions, we will be rolling that out.
And for those of our viewers who may not know what a brown bag session is, just...
It's a totally new concept. I would say that it's a workshop. It's a less formal.
Okay.
It's less structured, so because we want to lend to that openness, that type of creativity. Again, that's why it's being held at the Writer Center, because we want that fusion of constructive conversation with just a flow of creativity. So yeah.
And do you expect a huge turnout?
Yes. We try to keep these sessions as intimate as possible because we want persons to feel comfortable sharing and we want discussions to be meaningful. So far I am booked, but persons are still reaching out because they want to attend and participate. So I'm not going to say no, I'm not turning anyone away. And in the true spirit of a brown bag session, you do receive a nice treat. So that there will also be a catering company there, the Dusty Apron.
Okay.
So come on, yeah, enjoy.
Okay, so once again, this event is called No Chit, No Change, No Chat, No Change. It's a brown bag session on how youth-driven civil society organizations can craft effective and practical responses to the Venezuelan crisis. And it is, of course, being held this Saturday, that is the 20th of July at number 14 Alcazar Street in Port of Spain from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. We expect a lot to be getting done in those 3 hours.
Yes, so much. I'm totally ambitious, so definitely.
Are you collaborating with any other local bodies for this event, or?
So as I said, the Two Cents Movement, the Knowledge Bank of Trinidad and Tobago, and coming out of this event, I expect us to solidify partnerships with other local NGOs.
Now, it's not every day we find a young person as yourself getting involved in something that is not only important, but important to society as a whole.
Yeah.
So, what, in your opinion, can possibly be done to further encourage young people to, come out there and get involved?
I think it's important to understand that your opinion, it matters.
Yeah.
There's value, there's weight in your opinion. And where you're placed at, so much of us, we are so caught up with being disillusioned where we're at. Sometimes we're complaining that the terms and conditions of our jobs, they're not ideal, we're not being paid enough, we work too many long hours. However, most of us are positioned in really crucial pockets of society where we can influence and do so much. Yeah. So I would encourage young persons to continue networking, realize the value of where you're positioned, and realize the value of your opinion, and be open to sharing.
And you at the CYC, that's what you'll definitely do.
Exactly, that's what we're aiming to do.
Yeah. Okay, so Hannah, I'm just going to ask you your closing comments.
So, basically, I just look forward to seeing everyone there on Saturday. It's going to be an amazing event, an amazing lineup of speakers that are just ready and get up to share on their experiences. So come out, it starts at 9, ends at 12 noon. And I promise you, it's going to be a really meaningful and lively exchange.
And don't forget, you get a brown bag.
And you get a complimentary brown bag. Yeah. Listen, you can't get more all-inclusive than that.
And Trinis are sold with something like that.
Exactly, that's good incentive.
Yeah. For waking up early, I think that is perfect for someone like...
you just can't get better than that.
No, it doesn't get better than this. So, of course, again, this event is being held on Saturday. No chit, no change, no chat, no change. How did you all come up with that name in the first place?
So it actually reads, I know there's a bit of glare here, it actually reads no chit, no chance. No chance.
Oh my God, I changed the name of your...
That's okay.
Shit, no chance.
The flyer remains. During the Venezuelan registration process, our commissioner would have said no chit, no chance regarding those who are already in the process of registering.
Oh, okay.
So it just basically no chat, no change. grew out of that idea.
Okay.
Basically, just to remind young persons that for change, there's a genesis.
Yes.
And along that process, there are conversations happening. So you can't expect any change if you don't start a conversation. So this is what we're aiming to do.
And of course, it's mainly targeted towards the younger folks.
The younger folks, however, it's very inclusive, of course, because I value mentorship and I value that type of inclusive participation. Yeah.
All right. So, Hannah, I want to thank you so much for coming on this morning,
for
sharing your knowledge, and I do hope on Saturday we're able to come down there. It sounds interesting to me, and I know our viewers would love to hear more about this. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. So, we're going to toss to a really short break and come back with more. This is the Wake Up Call here on PSA TV.